We got Mr. John, Jeremy's dad, coming over here delivering the cherry picker so we could get this slug. It's not even a slug no more, it's just straight up rub. But you lower it down. Perfect. So guys, here we are back at the Bonnet Speed Shop in Litchfield, Ohio, and we're gonna get this motor out of the car. We had what do they call it? A rapid undesirable disassembly at about, like, I don't know, 300 feet, 500 feet, something like that. And it hurt the crank, so I need to find a 4-inch big block Chevy crank. Prefer standard, 1010 would also work. But I'm gonna go through, we're gonna get this thing out of here, have the motor out of here, have the transmission out of here, and it's gonna take a little bit of a process to do that, but it's not too bad. I built this car so it's pretty, everything's pretty easily accessible, but we're gonna have to roll the car out. It just has water in it right now, so we gotta drain the water out of it, and then start ripping the car apart, get it down to the short block, put that on an engine stand, flip it over, and start assessing the damages to the block and see if we got a if I got a really bust butt on that other motor, the motor that was supposed to be in here. But it is what it is. You just gotta take those troubles one step at a time and find a way to cross those hurdles. So here we are, see what happens. Well guys, unfortunately my phone was dead, so we didn't get video of taking off the intake, the headers, all the turbo plumbing and so on. But maybe that's why I'm just not a YouTube superstar just yet. But here we are. I'm going through getting all the studs loosed, the nuts and the washers off, because if the washers aren't off, well then the heads get stuck. Well guys, 1, 2 exhaust valves, at least 1 intake valve. They're bent. You can see them stuck open here. I figured as much when I was looking at the when I was undoing the valves. They weren't necessarily in adjustment like they should have been. You can see here where the valve was touching there, and slightly, just barely touching here, touching there, and barely touching here. But these can be cleaned up. I could just deburr these here, and we could run these. You can just, he just barely touched them, but touched them enough to bend them. That's all it takes. If you notice here, there is no head stud here or here. On a big block Chevy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we run these bolts here, these studs, through the back side, and we put a bolt on the back side of them, so we can get that extra 6 bolt there to help hold the head gasket in. You can see here, these are flat here, but there is a O-ring on the head. So we're gonna pull these out, get those studs out, get the other side off. Well, you guys saw that lifter going up and down without any resistance, and I can't get it out. I was like, what the hell is going on here? That right there, I don't know if you can see it. Kind of hard to see. That's a rod bolt in there, jammed up between the cam lobe and the lifter. Now I can't get it out. All right, guys, as of now, Tuesday night, this is where we're at. Camshaft and the crankshaft don't turn together. Probably the mandrel on the aluminum or plastic drive on the belt drive system. That's sometimes a good thing, because when it whacks the valves, it doesn't completely whack the valves. So it definitely got into the valve on number 6 cylinder here. It got into the valves on a couple cylinders on the driver's side. Nothing piston wise or whatever that can't be tidied up a little bit, but it did whack a couple of the exhaust valves and at least 1 intake valve. That is something that I could see visually. You'll have to check the valve job, make sure it didn't get any worse. The problem with this motor is the camshaft could possibly be bent with that rod bolt that is stuck up in the cam, which probably sheared off the keyway or something like that on the belt drive system. I haven't gotten the motor out of the car yet, but the sleeves are damaged on the bottom side of the block, but that is possible just to clean those up and toss one rod and piston in it that I do have a spare of. That's a possibility. Clean up the hot spots, because these things become like glow plugs. These sharp points here, I'll get better video in the morning, but I got a decision to make here. Do I take off this oil pump and a couple other little accessories that I need off of this motor to put on other motor, get the other trick flow heads, get those on the motor, and slap that sucker together? Right now, it is not machined for these extra head studs on the bottom, and I'd really like to have those on that motor. There's a place about an hour and a half away that could get that done for me. I don't have a camshaft for that motor. That is a 55 millimeter cam. Isky, to my knowledge, doesn't have the cores just yet for the LS firing order for that motor. But I could just bite the bullet or compromise and go with a regular 4.7 swap or a regular big block Chevy, small block Chevy firing order for that. I wanted to go with the LS firing order because it's a little more balanced. So that motor is doable, but if I go with that route, then I got to do a video for you guys where we machine up an intake, where I build the plenum and convert the intake over to EFI. That's not the end of the world. I have a fabricated intake that should fit that motor. So I got both blocks here with me, both Trick Flow 9.8 deck blocks that one of them was going to go in here, or will find its way in here eventually. Also, my buddy offered me his small block that's a really healthy non-conventional small block Chevy that has been, I'll say it, it's been 200 miles an hour in the quarter. It's a bad piece, but that involves making headers and this and that as well, besides just the turbo plumbing that I'd have to make when I put the standard deck motor in this car versus the tall deck, the 10.2 deck big block Chevy that this motor is. So I'm gonna go sleep on that. I'm gonna shower, get a nap in. I'm gonna have to make a decision as to what route. Well, guys, me and John have this motor just about ready to come out. Then we're gonna assess the damages. We know the rod's broke. We know it got into the cylinder walls a little bit, but we don't know if it's if the block is damaged, or if it's just needs a little bit of love. So we're gonna get this out of here and get it on the engine stand, flip it over, see what's wrong. Since I got the block out of here, a couple of the holes needed to be rethreaded. So I pulled out the rethreading set that I keep in the trailer, going through and redo some of the transmission bolt holes here. Unfortunately, I had to do quite a bit of the holes on the old set of cylinder heads that we lost in the fire, but we had to reuse those for a while, so I was having to rethread a lot of the exhaust rocker studs, and that's the whole reason why I bought this kit, but it sure is handy to have it in the trailer. Helicoils aren't as good as a time cert, but they are a pretty effective and efficient way to go through and repair holes, threaded holes, I should say. But it's a pretty simple process. You just drill, tap, and insert the new coil into there. That gives you a new set of threads. We'll bring you guys in here. So you can see this rod is broke. This rod is twisted. You can see the wrist pin off quite a bit. Bottom of the block broke out. Camshaft don't look that bad from here, but it's probably bent. So I'm gonna knock this rod out of it, this rod out of it, and then slowly start disassembling this thing.
Nice oil pump in that thing. Yep. The hell we have here?
Whoa. Whoa. Oh, guys, that's sad looking.
You wanna save that and make a trophy out of it for a hard luck trophy for somebody.
I'm about to raffle it off so friggin' help pay for this friggin' motor. Look at how mangled that is. Sad day to be a Nick. Did it loosen up?
Oh yeah, it's all loose. Yeah, I've got it loose.
It must have sheared the pin on the belt drive setup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It probably sheared this.
It definitely rotated. You could see the marks on the belt drive setup for advancing and returning the camshaft. It definitely rotated that. But it must have sheared the pin on the mandrel on the bottom side of it. Maybe, Grandpa. I had to share the pin on one of these.
Well, with a blower motor, you always double keyway them, you know. Now, when Nick Wilson did my Hemi,
I think
he said, since you're just going with a 671 and it's an old GM blower that I had SSI redo for me, he said, you don't need to double key this. And I didn't. Hell, 5 pounds of boost is about all it'll put in that big motor, you know.
The nice thing about this is like the balancer can't fall off.
Yeah, until you take that out.
So guys, I just went through the oil pump here, and unfortunately my phone was dead, so didn't get to film it all, but there's a spur gear in here, a couple gears in here, inside here underneath these Allens. And then this is a shuttle valve here, this piece right here. I'll flip the camera on for you guys. This piece right here is a shuttle valve, and this spring goes inside of that to hold the tension. There's different color springs for different PSI. This one is a 70 PSI spring, and this shuttle valve goes in here. Slides in there, just like so. When the spring pops in there. And then this goes in like that, and you tighten it down. These Allens here go in the side. I'll flip it over once I start this sucker. These two holes right here are the bypasses. You can see that this sucker turns nice and easy right now. I disassembled the 3 pieces in here, actually more like 10 pieces internally because of the Torrington bearings and stuff like that. But it turns nice and easy, cleaned it all out. We'll wipe all this down here. It just has a little bit of diesel fluid on it. Wipe this all down before we go and install it, but we'll probably be using this on the new motor. The motor over here, the motor that came out of Straight Gangster, is gonna be out of commission for a little while. You can see in this cylinder right here, that dent right there, this could all be cleaned up. That's not that much of an issue. But that dent right there is below or in the ring travel, so it needs at least 1 sleeve. That one over there got damaged too, but this one right here, being in the ring travel, is going to make the oil get up in the combustion chamber, and we can't. Guys, if you want to support this journey in any way, shape, or form, you go to hustlinghorsepower.com, get you some merchandise, buy you a hat, whatever it is, or guys, we're going to try like hell to make it to Uncaged. We're going to be there, National Trails, this Saturday. We're trying like all heck to get the car, get a heartbeat in the car, get the car started, and get Straight Gangster out there. I made my buy-in, $250 buy-in, before I even had something put in the frame rails. But that video will be coming out here in the next couple days. I'm just busy trying to get this all the pieces together so we can come out there and race for $25,000 in Columbus, Ohio this Saturday. Hope to see you guys there. We will be there. 99% sure we will be there, and probably 75% sure we will have a car there. But I'll find out probably by tomorrow night if we'll have a car or not to bring out there, because I want to go out there tested, because it is a slightly different combination. But you got to come back at another time, maybe tomorrow night, maybe Wednesday, to see what is going between the frame rails of Straight Gangster, to see if it has our chance to take that $25,000 this Saturday.